When the Los Angeles Angels signed Shohei Otani to their club, they got not just one player, but two. Otani is a starting pitcher that also split time as a DH/outfielder for the Nippon Ham Fighters in Japan, and he was pretty darn good at both. But his dual skill set does create an interesting dynamic to the game of baseball beyond his capability to do more than one thing on a baseball field. What happens if Otani starts a game as a DH but is brought in to pitch later? And vice versa? Well, we're gonna find out. Oh, and I just want to say Nippon Ham Fighter one more time. First, let's look at the DH rule and how substitution with the position works. Rule 5.11 6.10b states, a hitter may be designated to bat for the starting pitcher and all subsequent pitchers in a game without otherwise affecting the status of the pitchers in the game. A designated hitter for the pitcher, if any, must be selected prior to the game and must be included in the lineup cards presented to the umpire-in-chief. See, things are already getting dicey. The DH is to be used for the pitcher, and if you didn't know, only in the American League. So what if the DH is the pitcher and we're all living in a scene from Inception? Well, of course, on the days when Otani pitches, the Angels can still have Otani bat. But when Otani is done pitching, can he still hit? Can he DH for himself? I'll answer that in a little bit. The next question is, can a DH even come onto the field as a position player? The answer to that is yes, and it actually has happened quite a few times in the bigs. The DH can take the field as a position player, but the pitcher at the time takes the batting order spot of the player that is being replaced and is now required to bat. For example, if say the right fielder is batting leadoff and the DH who is hitting third comes into right field, the pitcher, whoever he is, now enters the game and bats leadoff. The DH keeps his spot in the order. Now things are getting complicated. There is no rule that says the DH can't take the mound either. He can enter the game at any position in the field. So let's lay the scenario out. Otani starts the game as the DH and is batting third in the order. In the 7th inning, the manager decides that Otani will enter the game on the mound to pitch. Does the world explode when this happens? Well, for one, because Otani is now the pitcher, nothing with the batting order changes at all. He's not replacing a position player, but he is on the bump and must bat in the order of the player he is replacing. The pitcher. Wait, what? But nobody else is coming off the field. Right. He still bats third. But what happens when the manager decides Otani is done pitching? Does he still get to DH? The answer to that and the earlier dilemma I set up lies in a section of the rule that I think is designed to keep shenanigans like this from happening. The rule states that once the DH enters the game as a position player, the team forfeits the right to use the DH. So on the days that Otani is pitching as a starter, even if listed as the DH, once Otani throws a pitch, he is no longer the DH. He is the pitcher who also bats. You cannot DH for yourself, just like you can't make fake Twitter accounts to answer internet trolls. In the second scenario, again, once Otani takes the mound, he is no longer the DH. Just as if he took over in right field, the same thing happens. The DH is now gone. Otani would just bat in the 3 spot and cannot return to hitting for the pitcher. If he wants to continue to hit, he has to either keep pitching or take a field position. And when he does that, whoever comes in to pitch now takes the player being replaced spot in the order. So Otani starts the game as DH hitting third. He comes in to pitch in the 7th and keeps his spot as third in the order as a pitcher. He pitches 1 inning and is put in for the right fielder who was batting leadoff. And a new pitcher comes to the mound. The new pitcher takes the right fielder spot in order, and again Otani bats third. Geez, this is complicated, and I'm not even going to discuss if a double switch is happening at this time and how jumbled the batting order becomes. The bottom line is, yes, Otani can enter the game as a pitcher, but he no longer can stay the DH. There is also a rule that says he can't sit in the bullpen unless he is the bullpen catcher, but that doesn't say he can't warm up in there. Yes, he can hit on the day he pitches, but there can be no DH if he hits. If the Angels decide to put in a DH for Otani, thinking he can be the DH on the day he starts as a pitcher after he is done on the mound, sorry you sneaky bastards. The DH can only be replaced by a player who hasn't been in the game yet. Yahtzee, Mike Scioscia. I have no idea what that means, but basically the rule book doesn't allow for New England Patriot level chicanery on a baseball field. That's just not what we do here. Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to leave a like, comment, or subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you do. I'm 5 Points Vids, and you made it to the end of this video.
And you know he kissed her on strikes, she kissed him on balls.